Welcome to the 2017 Oshkosh Area School District Activities Code Meeting presentation. My name is Brad Jadarski. I'm the Activities Coordinator here at Oshkosh West High School, and I'll be your narrator through this presentation. Please be sure to have a copy of the 2017 OASD Co-Curricular Handbook in front of you so you can open and follow along as we go. First and foremost, competing in any activity is a privilege, not a right. Therefore, academics come first. You must do the job in the classroom in order to be able to compete or perform in any activity here at Oshkosh West High School. On pages 2 and 3 of the Co-Curricular Handbook are the different categories of activities we have at Oshkosh West High School. Please be familiar with what category your activity is found under, as there are different expectations, policies, depending on the category your activity is in. For the 2017-2018 school year, there is an activity fee for students involved in activities that have competitions and or performances. It's $20 per activity, an individual limit of $40 per school year, and a family limit of $60 per school year. Please note the activity fee is in addition to any athletic fee, and also students be aware that some activities will have additional fees in order to participate in those activities. On pages 6 through 8 are the academic requirements for students involved in activities. Please note, a student must have received no failing grades in the most recent grade reporting period, and those grade reporting periods are the second grade reporting period of first semester, or the 10-week mark, first semester, the second grade reporting period of second semester, which is the 10-week marking period, and second semester grades are used. On page 7, please note, should a student become academically ineligible with one failing mark, he or she may not participate in competition or performances for a minimum of 7 consecutive school days and nights while the activity is in session. The student may return to the competition or performance on the 8th school day, provided the student received at least a 2.5 grade point average in the most recent grade reporting period. If the student had a grade point average of less than 2.5 in the most recent grade reporting period, he or she must follow the activities academic eligibility check process, which involves receiving an academic check form from the activities coordinator, taking it to your teachers and having them sign it each and every week, indicating whether or not you're passing the class. In order to be eligible for the activity that week, you must be passing each activity each week. This grade check process must continue until the next grade check period. On page 8, should a student become academically ineligible with more than one failing grade, he or she may not compete or participate in performances or competitions for a minimum of 15 consecutive school days and nights. The student may return to competition or performance on the 16th school day, provided the student is passing all their classes. What that will entail is a student getting the academic eligibility form, taking it to their teacher, having them signing off on if they're passing or failing. The student must be passing each and every class, each and every week, in order to be eligible to participate or perform or compete. This process will continue until the next grade check period. Students who have received one failing grade and who had less than a 2.5 grade point average in the most recent grade reporting period, or students who received more than one failing mark for the most recent grade reporting period, will have a chance to regain academic eligibility at the 5 or 15-week grade reporting period of each semester. Also, note 4B, for students participating in the musical, one-act play, and or fall spring play, if a student is academically ineligible, he or she must miss 1/4 of the scheduled performances. One failing grade at each grade check requires students after 3 consecutive days to go to the activities coordinator's office to secure an academic eligibility form. This form will list the student's class. The students must take this form to all of their teachers and have it signed, whether or not indicating passing or failing. A student can regain eligibility by passing all classes each week until the next grade reporting period. For a student in the musical, one-act play, or fall spring play, if they have more than one failing grade, It requires the student after 5 consecutive school days to go to the activities coordinator office and secure an academic eligibility form. The student must have all of their teachers sign this form indicating passing or failing. In order to be eligible, the student must be passing all of their classes, and this process will continue until the end of the activity or the next grade reporting period. Again, do the job in the classroom first and foremost. On pages 9 through 10 of the Co-Curricular Handbook, there's information regarding illness. Please note number 5 on page 9. A student must be present at all classes on the day of a practice or competition or performance to be eligible to participate. Only permission from school administration will permit a student to compete after missing classes. So if you go home ill, students, in the second half of the day, you will not be allowed to perform or compete that day. If you're at home ill in the morning and you contact school in advance, letting us know of your situation, and if you're able to get to school the second half of the day, typically school administration will grant you the ability to participate or perform or compete. However, that phone call must be made in the morning, letting us know in advance. Under number 7, regarding out-of-town travel, a student who travels to an out-of-town contest with a school team or activity must return with the team or activity. The only exception to this rule is if a student's parent is present at the out-of-town site, he or she may request that the student returns with the parent. This request must be made in person by the parent to the coach or advisor in charge, and the parent will also have to sign off that they are taking their child or children. Each coach will carry a copy of the district's transportation form with them for all away events. On page 10, number 11, please note the information regarding vacations. At the discretion of each coach or advisor, when a student is absent due to being on vacation with his or her family, upon returning to the team or activity, that student will not be allowed to participate in competition or performances equal to 1/2 of those missed. If the student is absent due to being on vacation with someone other than his or her family, the student will not be allowed to compete and must miss 1 competition or performance for each competition or performance missed. Please note if a student misses only practices but not any competitions due to being on vacation with either family or friends, this may impact playing time or performance time for the student upon his or her return. Students and their parents are encouraged to speak with their coach or advisor as soon as possible if they will miss any part of their season. Please note, this policy is at the discretion of each coach or advisor. Also on page 10, under number 15, the district does not provide transportation for students to any practice sites and some home competition sites or performance sites. In these situations, it is the responsibility of the student, parents, and/or legal guardians to provide their own transportation. Also on page 11, please note the district policy regarding the use of cameras and other recording devices in locker rooms. The following recording devices will be permitted in the locker room and for particular use as described. Video recording devices of any type may be used in the locker room provided no students are present in the locker room when recording is taking place. Video recording devices may be used for school projects involving video production or other video or pictorial presentation by students, provided that a district staff member verifies prior to allowing such equipment in the locker room that no student is or are using the locker room to change and thus could be caught in an exposed condition by recording equipment. Covert surveillance video may be used to investigate suspected illegal behavior or behavior by students that violates school rules. On pages 13 to 15 is the district's code of conduct. Please note these are the behavioral expectations that must be followed in order for a student to continue to stay eligible to compete or perform. Note, students must refrain from conduct that reflects unfavorably on a student or on the school. The code is in force year-round, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Examples of behavior that could reflect unfavorably on a student or the school are found on pages 13, 14, and 15. They're letters A, through R. Please be aware of what those areas are. Guidelines per penalties are found on pages 17 to 19. Specific penalties for use, possession, buying, or selling of controlled substances, street drugs, illegal drugs, and or performance-enhancing substances. 2. Use, possession, or purchase of tobacco in any form. 3. Use, possession, or purchase of alcoholic beverages. 4. Knowingly in the presence of alcohol, illegal drugs, and or drug paraphernalia. 5. Acts of vandalism. 6. Hosting a party. 7. Supplying, bringing alcohol or drugs. 8. A school AODA violation. And 9. Use of tobacco, nicotine, and related products by students. For any of those violations, again, number 1 through 9, a first offense for a Category A activity is suspension for 1/4 of the regular season or the equivalent of 1/4 of the regular season. The student must also complete a student assistance program or similar approved educational program in order to be reinstated. Category B activities, a suspension for 1 competition or performance. The student must also complete a student assistance program or similar approved educational program in order to be reinstated. Second violations for Category A and B activities is suspension for an entire season or the equivalent of an entire season. Third violations for Category A and B activities, suspension for 1 full school year or the equivalent of 1 full school year. And fourth violations for Category A and B activities, the student loses the privilege to participate in all co-curricular activities during the remainder of his or her academic career in the district. Regarding penalties for Code of Conduct violations with a self-referral. A self-referral is basically an honesty policy, and we reward honesty. The definition of a self-referral is found on page 19. If a student presents himself or herself to the activities coordinator or other school administrator at his or her school as a person who has violated the Code of Conduct in the areas numbered 1 to 5 below, the student will have his or her penalty reduced. For this to occur, the student must self-admit no later than the first school day after the violation has occurred and information cannot already have been shared with school administration from another source. Note, administration may grant an extension to the 1 school day provision due to extenuating circumstances. Students and their parents are strongly encouraged to self-report violations of the Code of Conduct during the summer months to the activities coordinator, their coach, or school administration as soon as possible. Again, those areas numbered 1 through 5 are 1. Use, possession, buying, or selling of controlled substances, street drugs, illegal drugs, and or performance-enhancing substances. 2. Use, possession, or purchase of tobacco in any form. 3. Use, possession, or purchase of alcoholic beverages. 4. Knowingly in the presence of alcohol, illegal drugs, and or drug paraphernalia. 5. Acts of vandalism. Please note the penalties are Category A, first violation, suspension for 1/8 of the regular season. The student must also complete a student assistance program or similar approved educational program in order to be reinstated. Category A activities, first offense, a 10-hour community service plan. The plan must be submitted to the activities coordinator and must be completed prior to activity eligibility being reinstated. The student must also complete a student assistance program or similar approved educational program in order to be reinstated. Second violations for Category A and B activities, suspension for 50% of the season with a 20-hour community service plan and meeting with the high school social worker and or district's ATODA coordinator and following through with any recommended course of action. Third violation for Category A and B activities, suspension for 1 full school year. And fourth violation for Category A and B activities, the student loses the privilege to participate in all co-curriculars during the remainder of his or her academic career. Again, remember, honesty is rewarded. If you find yourself in a position where you violated the district's Code of Conduct or are concerned that you may have, please bring the information forward, utilize the self-referral policy. Honesty is rewarded. And also keep in mind, if you find yourself in a jam and you're worried that something may happen, but you have done nothing wrong, don't be afraid to come forward and tell school administration what happened. We are reasonable people and will listen to what you have to say. On pages 21 and 22 are other items that are violations of the district's code of conduct, which are cumulative within themselves only. 10, a criminal offense or violation of a city, county ordinance having a statutory counterpart. 11, acts of harassment, including hazing. 12, violation of student rules as prescribed in the school planner. 3, recruitment of student athletes. And 4, illegal or inappropriate use of the internet and or electronic devices. Any posting or communication via social networking websites which disrupts either the educational or athletic environment is unacceptable, meaning text messages, social media posts, tweets, those types of things that you do. If they land on the desk of a school official, you can and will be held accountable for that material. Also, please note, there are certain behavioral offenses as well that are considered less severe violations of the district's code of conduct. I'd like to mention a couple of those in particular. Acts of truancy. On page 22, number 4, remember, you are a student first. You need to be in the classroom first and foremost. You need to be in class and doing the job in the classroom. Number 5, behavior or conduct which reflects unfavorably on a student. Please keep in mind, if you get suspended from school for inappropriate behavior, there very well could be a code of conduct violation. Number 6, cheating. A first offense during one's high school career. The teacher involved in the classroom will handle the situation and make contact with the activities coordinator. Basically, you'll get a warning. A second offense during anyone's high school career and any other additional offenses, the student will be referred to the activities coordinator for a behavioral offense or code of conduct violation. The significance of the violation will be evaluated and the suspension will be determined based on the severity of the offense. Note, for any first offense found to be especially serious, administration reserves the right to invoke a second offense consequence. In your classrooms where you're allowed to do group work, be sure you are clear on what is allowable regarding group work. A student in good standing, number 8. A student must be a student in good standing at each school year checkpoint in order to compete in any co-curricular event. A student in good standing is defined as follows. You adhere to your high school code of conduct. 2, you adhere to your high school attendance and tardy policies. And 3, you have no unserved detentions. Checkpoints for 2017-18 include October 2nd, the start of each winter sports season, January 8th, the start of each spring sports season, and April 16th. Only administrative approval will allow a student to compete in co-curricular events if a student is not a student in good standing at each checkpoint. On pages 25 to 27 is information about the district's appeal process. Please note, you may only appeal whether or not you actually violated the district's code of conduct. You may not appeal the length of consequence. Also found on pages 26 and 7 is information about school awards. Some of our school activities do carry with them the ability to earn a school award, others do not. So please, if you are in an activity that does give out school awards, you can find information about that on pages 26 and 27. On page 28 is the district's communication policy. Oshkosh West High School encourages students, parents, and coaches, advisors to open the lines of communication, meaning if you have questions as a student athlete about your role or your playing time or how often you get to participate in your activity, please have a conversation with your advisor. They are your first line of communication and can provide you with the feedback that you need to know. On page 30 of the Co-Curricular Handbook is some additional informational resources. You can find lots of information about the events taking place at Oshkosh West High School by going to www.foxvalleyassociation.org. From that website, you can select Oshkosh West High School, and on that next page, you will see all of the events taking place each day, each week, and each month at Oshkosh West. You're able to even print some of the schedules for some of our different sports and activities from that website. Also, I encourage you to follow me on Twitter. I'm at OWHS Activities. I like to tweet out lots of good things going on at Oshkosh West. And please follow me so that you can be up to date on the information that's taking place. I also want to make note of information found in the Co-Curricular Handbook in the appendix from the National Federation regarding hazing. Hazing is defined as any humiliating or dangerous activity expected of a student to belong to a group, regardless of their willingness to participate. Hazing, initiation type activities, bullying, they're not tolerated here at Oshkosh West High School, and many times the behavior is against the law. So if you feel you are being harassed, hazed, or bullied, please inform your coach, advisor, and/or school official. We take that information very seriously. And again, those of you as students, please stand up for each other. If you feel something going on isn't appropriate, please bring it to the attention of your coach or advisor or school administration. I want to thank you for viewing the activity code meeting presentation. I wish each and every one of you the best of luck this school year in the activity that you are participating. If you have a question at any time, please see your coach or advisor or stop into the main office and see Mr. Jadarski. Again, make it a great year and go Wildcats.